Let's talk college. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Megan. I make funny little videos on the internet of my life. I just graduated college, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. I graduated college 3 months ago. Oh my god, that's crazy. And it's around the time where everyone's going back to school, freshmen are going to college for the first time. A lot of my friends are orientation leaders, so I'm seeing them back on campus, which is so weird and more triggering than it needs to be. So I figured, since I'm not going back to college anytime soon, I would share my advice to all the freshmen who are going for the first time and are scared and don't know what to expect. I'm going to talk about the things that they don't really mention. I have like a whole list on my phone of things that I learned. I really tried to compile a list of things I learned freshman year in particular, because I know that is a lot of where people struggle because no one knows what they're doing. You're all struggling together. So, let's dive into this. Freshmen, listen up, this is for you. Alright, my first piece of advice is that the first few months are always rough. You're in a new environment, surrounded with people that you don't know. Chances are you're sharing a room with a complete stranger, and you're just trying to figure things out, and that's completely fine. No one knows what they're doing. I remember my first few months of college, I literally called my mom, and I'm like, I want to transfer out. Like, I do not want to be here. And I was like, I can't do this for 4 years. Like, this is ridiculous. This is a nightmare. I don't want to be here. And she was like, okay, well, just give it time. You just got there. Give it a few more months. And then we'll go from there. But luckily with time, I did find a loving group of friends. I joined clubs. I graduated in 4 years. Like, I made it, and I'm very proud of myself. So just know that the first few months are always rough for everybody. Next thing is to try to avoid 8 a.m. classes. I know, like, everyone's like, don't take them, but trust me, you can avoid them unless there's a class you absolutely have to take and it's only offered at 8 a.m. Then take it, but chances are it's offered, you know, at later times in the day. Take it, because then you're gonna be tired and grumpy for the rest of the day. Also, try to avoid online classes. I took 2 online classes that weren't during COVID, obviously, but I took them after COVID, post-COVID, and they were just purely online. It wasn't even like a Zoom lecture. I could not tell you what I learned, so try to avoid those if you can. Here's a good one for freshmen. You don't need to have the biggest meal plan that the campus has to offer. I wouldn't really say go with the smallest, but maybe like somewhere in the middle, because even like when I moved into an apartment with like a kitchen, freshman year, I didn't use up my entire meal plan. So especially if you know that you're not gonna be eating there a lot, you do not need to spend thousands of dollars on a meal plan. Trust me, when you get the food at the dining hall, you'll understand. All right, bring shower shoes. Showers are gross. Yeah, they are. Trust me, you're gonna want shower shoes. They're really gross. And this is especially living in, like, you know, a communal space where you're sharing a bathroom with like 30 other girls on the same floor as you. Trust me, bring shower shoes, because I don't think the showers get cleaned nearly as much as they need to be. All right, take advantage of flex money and offers that neighboring stores might have. I don't know how other campuses work, but on my campus we had flex points, where basically we put like a certain amount of money on our student ID, which was like our flex card. So we could use that at like the gas station across the street, the grocery store down the road, because they partnered with our campus, I guess. I honestly really don't know how it works. But they also offered like discounts for college students. So that's good. Take advantage of that, because we're all broke college students. Don't buy your books right away, and do not buy them at the bookstore. Obviously, like, look at the kind of books that you're going to need, because there was this one class I had where the book was a workbook and had the assignments needed in the book. But then I found it online for a lot less money than it would have been at the bookstore. So trust me, you do not need to be spending $50, $100 on a book at the bookstore, when honestly, a lot of the times you can buy used books on like Chegg or thrift books for like $10. There's this one class, it was communication theory. That class was really hard. And everyone was talking about it. They're like, oh my gosh, this class is impossible. It's so hard. And it was my turn to take it, and my friend was like, Megan, do you have the book? And I'm like, no. And she's like, you're gonna need it. So I'm like, all right, like, I don't want to have to retake this class, so I got the book. I opened it maybe once. I didn't even need it. And honestly, when I opened it once, I didn't even find what I was looking for, because a lot of the things that he taught and put on the test were things from his lectures. So I just really had to pay attention to what he was saying, write down every single little detail, every single little word, and then I was fine. That's another thing. It's not on the list, but pay attention to classes. I know that's like kind of stupid, but if it's a really, really, really hard class like communication theory, pay attention to what the teacher is saying, because chances are he's telling you something that's actually useful. Or maybe he's just telling you something stupid that's gonna be on the test. All right, make your dorm your own little comfort space. Buy cute things or things that make you happy. Your dorm is going to be your living space for the next year. So you might as well make it somewhere that you're comfortable and that you feel safe in. I know sometimes it's hard because oftentimes in freshman year, or most times in freshman year actually, you have someone else sharing a room with you, and chances are they're a complete stranger. So obviously if you're gonna like buy an air freshener, make sure that they're not allergic to the scent. But if you're just like hanging up things on like your side of the wall and like you want to put pillows on your bed and they make you happy, do it. This is your home. You want to be comfortable. You want to come back to a room after classes and just like walk into the room and you're like, thank God I'm back. Don't worry about like if people are looking at you like if you're alone, because chances are they don't care. There are people like all over my campus who are just like at a bench by themselves or at a table by themselves, just sitting outside doing work. And honestly, like that's great. I do that so much. And honestly, like it made me feel more productive. I don't know why. Join clubs and find friends who make you happy and comfortable. I know freshman year, like we're all trying to make friends with like everybody. We're trying to find like our perfect group. But if you're forcing yourself to be with people that like you're not comfortable around, or you feel like you have to prove something to them, like, no. You do not need to put yourself in that situation. There's people all across campus who have the same interests as you, who will like you for who you are, who will make you happy, who you're comfortable with. And joining a club can play a big role in that, because that way you know that they have the same interests as you. We had so many different clubs on my campus. We had a plant club, we had a beekeeping club, we had an anime club, Disney club, improv club. We had so many options for people to find people who share the same interests. Here's a big one. You do not need to be in a sorority or fraternity to have a social life. I know there's this whole stigma around Greek life, like, oh, if you don't join Greek life, you're not gonna have a social life. That is so not true. I joined Phi Sigma Pi my senior year of college, which was a blast. I had so much fun. I met amazing people. But the 3 years before that, I still had an amazing experience, and I did have a social life. I had my own radio show at the radio station. I did events with that. I made friends that way. I joined the improv club where I became the PR chair and the vice president. I did the musicals, which was amazing, and I met the most incredible people I could ever ask for. So if you're worried that you're not going to make any friends if you don't join Greek life, don't even worry about it. You have so many more opportunities. Don't be pressured to take all your gen eds at once. I know they tell you to try to get your gen eds done earlier to just get them out of the way, but honestly, I took a lot of my gen eds kind of staggered out. Like I took history one semester, I took geography another semester, I took geology another semester, I took math another semester, English another. And honestly, I think that really helped space it out, because not only that, but I could focus on my major more to decide if I really liked it. Don't fall for a frat boy. I don't think I need to say anymore. This is another good one. Don't be pressured to find the love of your life at college. I know like some people when they get to college, they're like, oh my God, the world's my oyster, I'm gonna find my Prince Charming and we're gonna live happily ever after. You do not need to pressure yourself to settle down. When you get to college, you're like, I think 18. We're still teenagers. You do not need to find your Prince Charming at 18. Honestly, just focus on making friends, focus on having fun, focus on your classes, and if you meet the love of your life, amazing, but do not force yourself to try. Try to avoid unpaid internships, especially remote. I know sometimes unpaid internships are unavoidable and you have to get an unpaid internship, or it's like part of your major, or sometimes your professor will like recommend you to this specific internship that's really great but it's unpaid. Like, that's fine. But if you're just staring at a screen for hours and hours on end remotely, being unpaid and not really learning much, you're not really gaining experience or knowledge. And that's what an internship is supposed to do. It's supposed to teach you, give you experience, and expand your knowledge. And if an internship is not doing that, then it's not worth your time. Just be nice. Be nice to people, your professors. You never know what they're gonna do for you in the future or what they can do for you in the future. And that's just how you make friends, and it just makes the college experience better. I just gave that like great heartwarming speech, and this one's kind of a Debbie Downer, but I feel like we should talk about it. Lies and rumors are unavoidable at a small school. Just ignore them and prove them wrong. Which like is true, because at a small school, everyone knows everyone's business. People start talking about things that they don't even know about, and that's how lies and rumors are created. And like, it sucks, but you can choose how you react. Now, I'm not saying like go on Instagram and be like, this rumor is not true, blah blah blah. Like, no, just go about your day. If people want to think poorly on you, that's on them. They're missing out on what a great person you actually are. I remember this one girl, she got to know me, and she's like, gonna be honest, like, when I first met you, I was so scared of you. And I was like, what? You were like, what? And she's like, yeah, like this one person like told me all these awful things about you, like they painted you as this awful person. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm glad I could not live up to those expectations. And she was like, yeah, I'm honestly really glad that you're not the person that they told me you were. And I'm like, all I had to do was be myself. This one's important. Listen, write things down, whether that be in your notes app, a planner, like a physical planner, a calendar, Notion. I use Notion a lot. I loved Notion. I had a desk calendar, like a physical big calendar on my desk where I would write down due dates, my assignments. I would color code things. I would use stickers. And yet somehow I would still always forget things, but everything else I would remember. And the last thing is to be strong. Going into college is really hard and really difficult, and it's a scary experience when you first start out, obviously. Freshman year, like I said, no one knows what they're doing. You're in a new environment with new people, you're living in a space with a stranger, but I promise you, with time, you will find your people, you will find things that interest you, you will get amazing opportunities and experiences, and it's going to be a great 4 years. Obviously for me, it was a little different because freshman year was when COVID happened, and honestly my senior year was the only year that was normal, where we weren't wearing masks anymore, we had no more remote classes, so that was really the only normal year I had. And everything else was like a different experience. But hopefully you new freshmen going to school will not have to deal with that, and you'll have an amazing 4 years in person, and you're just gonna do great. Well, that is everything on my list. Thank you guys so much for watching. For all you freshmen just going into college, good luck, you got this. I have so much faith in you. Breathe, it's gonna be okay. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!